The first time I learned to be afraid of an empty rest stop, I was halfway through an overnight drive to Florida. I was in my 20s then, and my girlfriend had temporarily moved there for a 6-month work assignment. We had no intention of ending our relationship simply because of the distance, so we decided to make it work. The arrangement was inconvenient, but manageable. Her apartment was a little more than 12 hours from my home, and whenever I wanted to see her, I would make the entire drive. Usually I handled the trip by taking a Friday off from work. I would leave before sunrise, spend most of the day behind the wheel, and reach her apartment sometime that evening. The long drive never bothered me nearly as much as the traffic did. Leaving early meant I could make good progress, but sooner or later I would find myself trapped in a wall of cars. For my final visit before she returned home, I decided to try something different. Instead of leaving Friday morning, I would finish work on Thursday, start driving that evening, and continue through the night. At first, the plan seemed brilliant. The roads were crowded during the first portion of the trip, but after sunset, everything changed. By late evening, traffic had almost disappeared. The highway stretched ahead of me like an endless black ribbon, with only occasional headlights appearing in the distance. I was making excellent time. Then, sometime after midnight, my body reminded me that there was a price for working a full day and immediately beginning a 12-hour drive. My eyelids became heavy. I blinked repeatedly. That frightened me more than anything else had during the drive. I knew exactly what was happening. I was beginning to fall asleep behind the wheel. I searched desperately for somewhere to stop and rest, and almost as if the highway had heard me, I spotted a sign announcing a rest area several miles ahead. 2 miles. I could manage 2 miles. At least that was what I told myself. Those final 2 miles felt endless. I rolled down the windows, turned the music up, shifted around in my seat, and fought to keep myself awake. Eventually, I saw the entrance and turned into the rest area. The place was nothing like the modern travel centers I had passed earlier. There were no restaurants, no gas pumps, and barely any lighting. The building was small and made of old brick. A large opening served as the entrance, leading into a narrow hallway with a men's bathroom on one side and a women's bathroom on the other. I parked and stepped out. The cool night air helped immediately. I stretched my arms above my head, bent my knees, and even did several jumping jacks. I wanted my body to remember that it was supposed to be awake. While stretching, I noticed another vehicle parked on the opposite side of the lot. It was the only other car there. I couldn't see anyone inside. For all I knew, the driver was sleeping. That didn't bother me. Rest stops existed for exactly that. I didn't urgently need to use the bathroom anyway, so I returned to my vehicle and walked around for a while. 10 minutes passed. The men's bathroom remained closed. I tried the handle once more. Still locked. That was when I knocked. Nothing. I knocked again. Silence. Not even movement. The entire building seemed dead. Since the women's bathroom was directly across the hallway, I tried its door. It opened. Before entering, I knocked lightly and asked whether anyone was inside. No response. I stepped in. Because I didn't want some stranger arriving while I was inside and wondering what kind of person was wandering around a deserted rest stop in the middle of the night, I locked the door behind me. I felt ridiculous being in the women's bathroom, even though I was completely alone. I finished quickly, washed my hands, and splashed water over my face. That was when I heard something against the door. They began near the men's bathroom and continued directly toward the women's bathroom. Toward me. I stood there, staring at them. My tiredness disappeared completely. I didn't care about figuring out who had made them. I only wanted to leave. I hurried toward the entrance. Then I stopped. The other vehicle was no longer parked across the lot. It was sitting directly beside mine. I stared at it. I had seen that car when I arrived. It had been far away, on the opposite side of the parking lot. Now it was next to my vehicle. I looked around. Nobody was